Every morning, millions of people believe they choose their own route through the city. They decide which street to take, where to stop for coffee, which plaza to cross, and which store catches their attention. Feels spontaneous, personal, independent. Yet long before that first step is taken, invisible decisions have already been made on their behalf. Streets, sidewalks, intersections, public spaces, and commercial districts have been carefully arranged to influence where crowds gather, how long they stay, and ultimately where money changes hands. The question isn't whether cities shape human behavior. The real question is, who benefits most from the way they are designed? Cities have never been random collections of buildings. Throughout history, urban design has reflected political priorities, military strategy, public health, transportation, and economic ambition. Ancient trade routes became marketplaces. Industrial cities grew around factories and ports. Modern financial districts emerged where capital could move most efficiently. Every era left behind a physical map of its economic incentives. Today's cities continue that tradition. Only now, movement itself has become one of the most valuable resources to optimize. Every pedestrian passing a storefront represents potential revenue. Every commuter represents demand. Every tourist represents spending power. Every public square represents commercial opportunity. Urban planners, architects, developers, retailers, and transportation authorities all understand a simple principle. Where people move, businesses follow. And where businesses concentrate, more people naturally begin to move. That feedback loop quietly shapes entire neighborhoods. Behavioral science offers an important explanation. Humans rarely evaluate every possible route before walking. Instead, they favor paths that feel intuitive, safe, visually attractive, and cognitively effortless. Wide sidewalks invite movement. Open sight lines reduce uncertainty. Shade encourages longer walks. Well-designed crossings increase pedestrian flow. None of these features forces anyone to choose a particular direction, yet together they influence decisions every day. The environment becomes part of the decision-making process. This principle explains why successful commercial districts rarely depend only on the quality of individual businesses. They depend on the experience of moving through the area itself. If walking feels enjoyable, people walk farther. If people walk farther, they discover more businesses. If they discover more businesses, spending opportunities multiply. Comfort quietly becomes economic infrastructure. Perhaps nowhere has this relationship between design and commerce been explored more aggressively than in the United States. As cities expanded alongside automobile ownership during the 20th century, planners and private developers experimented with different commercial models. Downtown districts, suburban shopping centers, mixed-use developments, and business parks reflected distinct assumptions about how Americans preferred to live, travel, and spend. While no single model proved perfect, the willingness to redesign commercial environments became one of the defining characteristics of American urban development. The goal wasn't merely moving people. It was moving economic activity. Transportation illustrates this perfectly. A new subway station doesn't simply improve mobility, changes property values. It attracts offices. It encourages restaurants. It increases housing demand. Entire neighborhoods can transform because accessibility changes. Businesses understand this immediately. Location often determines opportunity long before marketing begins. The same logic applies at smaller scales. Corner stores benefit from visibility. Cafes thrive where foot traffic naturally slows. Luxury retailers often cluster near prestigious districts where architecture reinforces perception. Entertainment venues frequently emerge where evening pedestrian flow already exists. Success becomes partially geographical. The city itself starts functioning like an enormous recommendation system. Urban designers frequently study something known as desire paths. These are informal trails people create by repeatedly walking where official pathways don't exist. Rather than viewing them as mistakes, planners increasingly recognize them as valuable behavioral data. They reveal how people naturally prefer to move when unnecessary friction disappears. In other words, Citizens continuously teach cities how cities should function. The relationship flows both directions. Design influences behavior. Behavior reshapes design. Modern technology accelerates this process. Sensors measure traffic. Mobile devices generate anonymous movement data. Transit systems reveal commuting patterns. Businesses analyze customer density. Developers identify emerging commercial corridors. Data transforms movement into measurable economic intelligence. Suddenly, urban planning becomes far more predictive than reactive. The objective isn't simply building roads. It's understanding behavior before future infrastructure is constructed. This creates remarkable economic advantages. Developers reduce investment uncertainty. Retailers choose stronger locations. Governments allocate infrastructure more efficiently. Investors identify neighborhoods before broader market recognition. Movement becomes information. Information becomes capital. Of course, cities must balance multiple priorities simultaneously. Efficient transportation, environmental sustainability, public safety, housing affordability, and commercial development rarely align perfectly. Urban planning is therefore less about achieving perfection than navigating trade-offs between competing objectives. That complexity explains why no city ever truly reaches a finished state. Instead, cities continuously adapt to changing technologies, demographics, and economic incentives. At this point, if you're enjoying this investigation, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the Wealth Code Chronicles. Every documentary explores the invisible systems connecting psychology, business, and economic power. And some of the most influential strategies are literally built into the places we move through every day. Once you begin recognizing these patterns, ordinary streets start revealing extraordinary intentions. The most effective urban design often goes unnoticed precisely because it feels natural. People rarely compliment an intersection for reducing hesitation or a public plaza for encouraging conversation. They simply experience the city as comfortable, efficient, or welcoming. Behind those emotions, however, lie countless design decisions guided by measurable behavioral outcomes. Consider public squares. When surrounded by cafes, retail storefronts, offices, and cultural attractions, they become more than open spaces. They become economic multipliers. People pause, observe, socialize, and extend their visits. Longer visits increase nearby business activity without requiring aggressive advertising or direct persuasion. The environment performs much of the work. Street width creates similar effects. Narrower streets often reduce vehicle speeds, making pedestrians feel safer. Wider sidewalks encourage outdoor seating and spontaneous interaction. Trees provide shade that extends walking comfort during warmer months. Small adjustments accumulate into noticeable differences in commercial vitality. None of these elements exists in isolation. Each supports the others. Behavioral economists frequently describe how small environmental changes influence large collective outcomes. Individuals may not consciously notice every design choice, but populations consistently respond to them over time. What appears insignificant at the level of one decision becomes transformative across millions of daily movements. Cities therefore become living behavioral systems. Every block produces feedback. Every transit line reshapes demand. Every zoning decision influences future investment. Every public improvement changes private opportunity. Commercial ecosystems emerge gradually through repeated interactions between physical space and human behavior. Digital technology has begun extending this process even further. Navigation apps influence route selection. Real-time traffic data redistributes vehicles. Location-based recommendations guide restaurant choices. Ride-sharing services alter transportation demand. Smart infrastructure increasingly adapts according to observed movement patterns rather than fixed assumptions. Physical cities and digital systems now cooperate in ways that would have seemed extraordinary only a generation ago. This convergence creates new opportunities. Businesses identify underserved neighborhoods. Municipalities improve traffic efficiency. Developers optimize mixed-use projects. consumers gain greater convenience. At the same time, it also raises important questions about transparency and influence. If navigation software consistently directs pedestrians through particular commercial districts, who benefits? If public investment dramatically increases nearby property values, who captures those gains? If movement data becomes commercially valuable, who should control it? These questions don't imply hidden conspiracies. They reflect incentives. Cities naturally attract investment toward places where movement, accessibility, and economic activity reinforce one another. That feedback loop has always existed. Technology simply makes it faster, more measurable, and increasingly precise. Importantly, designing for economic activity doesn't automatically conflict with public interest. Walkable neighborhoods often improve public health. Efficient transit reduces congestion. Attractive public spaces strengthen local communities. Thriving commercial districts create employment and tax revenue that support broader civic services. In many cases, commercial success and public benefit align remarkably well. The challenge emerges when optimization favors one objective while quietly weakening another. Maximizing traffic may reduce tranquility. Increasing tourism may raise housing costs. Encouraging development may alter neighborhood identity. Urban design constantly negotiates these competing outcomes. There is no perfect blueprint, only evolving priorities shaped by economics, politics, culture, and human behavior. Perhaps the most fascinating realization is that cities communicate without speaking. Every boulevard invites or discourages movement. Every park encourages certain activities. Every commercial district sends subtle signals about where attention, investment, and opportunity should concentrate. People believe they are simply navigating the city. In reality, the city is also gently navigating them. Before deciding whether that feels empowering or unsettling, consider one final question. If a carefully designed urban environment consistently helps people move more efficiently, discover more businesses, spend more time outdoors, and generate greater economic activity, has it simply become a better city? Or has it also become an invisible participant in millions of everyday decisions? If you want to decode the systems behind these digital empires and build your own, check the first link in the description. As artificial intelligence, real-time data, and behavioral science become increasingly integrated into urban planning, tomorrow's cities will likely become even better at anticipating where people want to go before they arrive. And if the places around you quietly influence every step you take, how certain are you that you've always been choosing the path entirely on your own?